I want you to picture a really specific moment. Think back to a time when you looked at a friend, a family member, or maybe a colleague, and you just sensed something was off. You know that feeling, right? You leaned in, looked them right in the eyes, and asked that simple, well-meaning question. Are you okay?
And without skipping a beat, literally without a fraction of a second of hesitation, they flashed a quick smile and hit you with these two simple words, "I'm fine." But somehow you intuitively knew they actually weren't. There's this stark disconnect when this happens. You hear the words, sure, but your gut is screaming a completely different story. The truth is, those two little words can actually form one of the thickest, most impenetrable barriers a person could possibly build.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the I'm fine mask.
Why is it that when we are hurting the absolutely most, we reach for the most dismissive phrase in the English language? That automatic smile is so often a carefully constructed mask. It's specifically designed to conceal intense emotional struggles that a person just doesn't want the rest of the world to see. I mean, think about it. A person can be laughing in a crowded room, absolutely crushing it at their job, and checking all the boxes of a quote-unquote happy life, while secretly navigating profound stress, deep loneliness, or heartbreaking silent battles. This smile is basically a shield. It's a polite way of saying, hey, nothing to see here, even when their internal world feels completely overwhelming.
Section 2, why we hide.
Let's take a bit of a descent into the human mind to understand why it's so much easier to pretend than to just admit we're struggling. So the crucial point is, when someone constantly says, I'm fine, it absolutely doesn't mean they are maliciously lying to you. More often than not, it is a textbook defense mechanism. Psychology tells us this is an unconscious strategy people use to protect themselves from emotions they simply don't know how to share or process. It's pure self-preservation. Understanding this reframes the whole thing. It takes the phrase from being a cold conversation ender to a very real signal of self-protection.
Let's look at the first major reason people rely on this defense: the fear of being a burden. So many people grow up deeply, truly believing that their problems are just going to make life harder for the people they love. They look around and think, man, everyone has their own struggles right now. Why on earth should I add my heavy boulder to their load? So instead of opening up, they smile, say they're fine, and carry that crushing weight entirely alone. And the incredible irony here, the people who care the most about others, the absolute most empathetic among us, are often the least likely to ever ask for help themselves.
Then we have emotional suppression. Some people were raised in environments where expressing fear, showing sadness, or shedding even a single tear was actively labeled as a weakness. Maybe they repeatedly heard stuff like, be strong, stop crying, or you'll get over it. Over time, their brain actually adapts. They literally train themselves to automatically lock away whatever they truly feel. Eventually, blurting out, I'm fine, becomes this ingrained reflex, like a locked door that just shuts automatically, even when they are anything but fine.
Opening up requires vulnerability. And let's be totally honest, vulnerability is terrifying. People constantly worry. Are they gonna think I'm weak? Will they think I'm being dramatic? Am I just seeking attention? There's this profound fear that their raw, messy feelings will be misunderstood or completely dismissed by whoever's listening. Rather than taking that massive interpersonal risk, they choose the safety of the mask. To them, pretending everything is okay feels infinitely safer than exposing their emotional pain to potential criticism.
And sometimes, the problem is incredibly practical. They simply lack the vocabulary. Emotions are inherently confusing and just messy. Complex feelings like creeping anxiety, chronic emotional exhaustion, or sudden bouts of loneliness don't exactly come with clear, easy-to-articulate words. When someone doesn't fully understand the tangled mess in their own head, it's just so much easier to end the conversation with a quick, breezy, I'm fine, than to completely fumble through an explanation of something they can't even describe to themselves.
Section 3, the silent cry for help. As we dig deeper, we reach the most poignant and honestly heartbreaking reason behind the mask. It shifts from just self-protection to a secret, quiet yearning. Many people who say, I'm fine, are secretly holding out a little bit of hope. They might never directly ask for help because they fear rejection or looking needy. Instead, they quietly hope that you, the person asking, will look past that practiced smile. They're hoping you'll hear that slight split-second hesitation in their voice or notice the fading light in their eyes and just ask one more time with genuine care. Sometimes, that phrase is actually a test. They're just waiting for proof that someone truly, deeply wants to know how they're feeling, beyond the usual polite pleasantries. Let's move to and see how this builds. Section 4, cracks in the mask. The mask is never perfect, right? It always has cracks.
Psychology points us toward these very subtle behavioral shifts that reveal emotional distress. First off, watch the smile. A genuine smile lingers, but a mask quickly fades the exact second they think nobody's looking. Second, notice their volume. A person who usually loves a good chat might suddenly become much quieter than usual, choosing silence over the energy that connection requires. Third, watch for isolation. They might start declining invitations or taking way longer to text back, not because they don't love you, but because they are entirely depleted. And finally, the chronic listener. They are always there for everyone else's crisis, offering comfort, but they mysteriously never, ever share what's actually going on in their own life.
And this brilliantly illustrates one of the biggest verbal clues we constantly miss. We hear "I'm just tired" all the time. And sure, sometimes they just genuinely need a nap, but other times, that tiredness isn't physical at all, it's entirely emotional. Carrying invisible stress, managing hidden sadness, or fighting daily anxiety takes a monumental toll on the body. It leaves a person feeling completely, utterly drained. It's a kind of exhaustion that even 10 solid hours of sleep simply won't fix.
Section 5. Breaking the silence.
So how do we take all these psychological insights and actually turn them into compassionate action? Well, the absolute truth is we can never fully know what internal battles someone is fighting just by looking at them. That is exactly why kindness must always take precedence over our assumptions. The next time someone gives you a quick "I'm fine," don't automatically rush to believe the words. Take a second, listen to their tone, notice their actions. Taking just a few extra minutes to genuinely listen, or simply reminding them that they don't have to face the world alone, can make a massive, literally life-altering difference. Sometimes the absolute strongest people you know are the ones silently asking for help in the only way they know how.
Which brings us back to you. As we wrap up this exploration, I want to leave you with this to reflect on. Have you ever said, "I'm fine," when you really truly weren't? Think about exactly why you did it and what you wish the other person had done in that specific moment. Let that memory build your empathy for the next time you ask someone, "Are you okay?" Keep learning, keep paying attention to those subtle signs, and I'll see you in our next explainer.